Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into Shangri-La Frontier today. Well, specifically, we're diving into Sunraku, the main character.
Ah, Sunraku.
You know, the anime set in the future where VR gaming is like the biggest thing.
Right. Full dive VR.
Yeah, and Sunraku, he's kind of a trash game hunter, you know, loves those difficult, almost broken games.
Oh, yeah, the kind of games that make you want to throw your controller.
Exactly. But Sunraku, he thrives on that. So when he jumps into Shangri-La Frontier, this super popular game.
It's a recipe for, well, you could say that, but it's what makes him so interesting. His love for those, what do you call them?
Trash games.
Right, trash games. That makes him a really unique player in Shangri-La Frontier.
So for those listening who might not get the whole trash game thing.
It's not just about a game being bad, right?
Yeah, it's more than that.
It's like, think of a game riddled with glitches, unfair difficulty spikes, you name it. Stuff that would make most players just quit.
Rage quit, for sure.
But for people like Sunraku, that's the appeal. It's about conquering those insane challenges. It's about finding those crazy workarounds.
Turning the game's flaws into, like, advantages.
Exactly.
So it's more like a whole gaming philosophy almost.
Yeah, I'd say so. Tenacity, out-of-the-box thinking. Maybe a little bit of a...
masochism.
You said it.
Okay, so we've got this trash game fanatic diving headfirst into Shangri-La Frontier. But who is Sunraku outside the game?
His real name is Rakuro Hizutome. He's pretty much your average teenager, honestly.
Huh. You think someone who loves those trash games would be, I don't know, more of a loner type?
Nope, not Sunraku. He's actually quite social, hangs out with friends, helps his mom out, just happens to have a unique taste in games.
And that taste definitely shows in his interesting choice of avatar.
Oh yeah, he's this muscular dude running around half naked, bright blue shorts, and this giant blue bird head covering his entire face.
Half naked. Did he, like, forget to equip armor?
Nah, he sold it all right at the start.
Seriously?
Wanted that starting cash advantage, even if it meant sacrificing defense.
So he's a glass cannon. High risk, high reward.
You got it. And that bird helmet, by the way.
Yeah.
It's based on a shoe bill.
The shoe bill? That's a choice. But hey, at least it's memorable. Right?
Definitely memorable. But how does he actually play, you ask?
I was just about to. Does he steer clear of those tough enemies?
Is Sunraku avoiding a challenge? Never. In fact, pretty early on, he goes looking for this notorious monster, Lycagon the Night Slayer.
I've heard of that one. Lives in the Dire March Waste, right?
Yeah, that's the one. And this fight, it really shows how Sunraku puts that trash game philosophy into action.
I bet. So tell me, how does he handle Lycagon?
Well, first he figures out pretty quickly, one hit from Lycagon, you're done. Toast. So what does he do? He masters the perfect parry.
Perfect parry. Sounds intense.
It is. It's not just about reaction time. It's about perfectly timing your block to deflect the attack and open up a counter.
So instead of brute force, which wouldn't work against Lycagon, he finds a way to use the game's mechanics.
Precisely. And to really make those counters count, he equips these Vorpal choppers, items specifically for critical hits.
Smart. So does he win? He loses. But he probably learned a ton, right? Given his love for,
Oh, absolutely. And he levels up quite a bit from the fight. But the loss wasn't without consequence. He gets hit with this curse, Lycagon's mark.
Uh-oh. What's that do?
Prevents him from wearing armor, makes him even more vulnerable.
Most players would freak out, but Sunraku, I bet he just sees it as another puzzle.
Like I said, the guy loves a challenge. He adapts, finds a way to even use the curse to his advantage somehow.
So he doesn't let the game dictate how he plays. He finds a way to, like, bend the rules. Pretty inspiring, actually.
It is. And this whole Lycagon thing, it basically makes his reputation. He's the guy who embraces the tough stuff.
All thanks to his love for trash games. It's like his
secret weapon.
Yeah, but it's not just about individual fights, right?
Right. This Kusage mindset, it affects how he approaches the entire game.
Now that's what I'm interested in. Tell me more about that. How does that play out in the grand scheme of Shangri-La Frontier?
It affects everything. His goals, how he interacts with others, even the decisions he makes. It's all about finding the fun in the unexpected, and always pushing those boundaries.
He's definitely playing on his own terms. So what's a good example of that, this Kusage mindset in action, but like on a bigger scale within the game?
Well, let's talk about his sub-job. In Shangri-La Frontier, when you hit a certain level, you get to pick a sub-job.
Right. Gives you new skills, lets you specialize a bit.
Exactly. Pretty standard RPG stuff. So at level 99, Sunraku unlocks the Fool sub-job.
The Fool. Okay, I gotta admit, that sounds a little...
Yowski.
Yeah. I mean, most players go for sub-jobs that, make sense with their main build. Something balanced.
For sure, that's the usual advice. But
That's the-
Sunraku, he loves to gamble.
So what does the Fool actually do?
It basically amps everything up. Halves his skill recasts time so he can attack faster, but it also doubles the damage and debuff duration he takes.
Whoa, it's like a double-edged sword.
You could see that he's constantly on that edge. One wrong move.
Disaster.
Yeah.
I'd probably stick with a safer sub-job, personally. But that's Sunraku, always pushing the limits. Sees the game as a puzzle to solve, even if it means danger.
And the Fool adds another layer of unpredictability to it all. It randomizes the effectiveness of healing items, too.
No way. So even healing's a gamble.
Pretty much. He's basically making things harder for himself on purpose.
But remember, he's not after easy wins. It's about the challenge, right? And finding a way to beat the odds.
Exactly. That's what makes him so much fun to watch. He's not following the guidebook.
He's creating his own path.
Yeah.
Embracing that chaos, even. It's almost like he's redefining how to play the game.
That's a good way to put it. It challenges the whole idea of what it means to win.
It's not about beating the final boss. It's the whole journey. The struggles, the creativity.
From that different way of thinking, that's what sets him apart. He's not copying anyone.
It's funny, though. You'd think someone who loves trash games wouldn't appreciate a well-made game like Shangri-La Frontier,
Right. But he seems to like both.
He recognizes the quality, but he also sees those,
Kusoge elements.
yeah, those little twists and challenges that most players would probably hate.
He embraces them. A true gamer, I'd say. Always curious, always looking for something new.
That's a good lesson for all of us, really, whether it's gaming or just, life in general.
Be open to new things, even if they seem a little weird at first.
You never know what you might find.
Exactly. So we've talked a lot about Sunraku's past with games and how that shapes how he's playing Shangri-La Frontier. But how do you think it'll affect his journey moving forward? What kind of challenges do you think he'll face? And how will he overcome them with this,
Kustoge mindset.
yeah, with that Kusoji mindset of his? Well, I mean, looking at how he's played so far, it's got to be a wild ride.
Oh, yeah. Sunraku, he's not afraid to, break the mold, find those loopholes, push those limits. I bet he'll get a lot of attention from other players.
For sure. Some might think he's crazy,
A bit reckless.
but others, they'll see his unique approach. He's a real contradiction,
He's totally thinking outside the box. Turn those trash games, all that frustration, into something special. A way of seeing things other players just don't have.
Makes you wonder how he'll handle the social side of the game. Will he team up? Go solo?
Knowing Sunraku, he'll probably find a way to do both. Or invent some whole new way to play with others.
Keeps you guessing. That's what I love about him as a character. You never know what's next, what crazy plan he'll come up with.
It's like he's playing a different game entirely, even though everyone's in the same world.
It makes you want to jump in yourself. See it all through his eyes.
I know, right? Suddenly I'm feeling the urge to fire up Shangri-La Frontier and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
But before we go, was there anything that really surprised you digging into Sunraku for this episode?
It's interesting. He loves those trash games, but he doesn't dismiss good games either. Like Shangri-La Frontier, he can appreciate a well-made game.
It shows he's open-minded, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't let his preferences limit him.
Exactly. He finds the fun in any game. Flaws or not, he's a true gamer, that's for sure.
That's a great point. So wrapping things up, we've seen how Sunraku's past, especially his love for trash games, has shaped him into this amazing, one-of-a-kind character in Shangri-La Frontier.
We talked about his Kuthosha's mindset, how that love for challenge, for thinking differently, makes him such a powerful player. He bends the rules, does the unexpected, changes how we think about winning.
And he does it all with this, optimistic energy. Reminds us that the journey matters just as much as the destination. And that sometimes the best wins come from those unexpected places.
If you're looking for an anime that flips the script with a main character who does things his own way, definitely check out Shangri-La Frontier. Join Sunraku on his adventure. You won't regret it.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.